Are you tired of feeling like you're fighting your own energy and rhythms? Like you just feel disconnected from yourself? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Jen with Everyday with JenMarie, where we help women like you discover your innate female powers, help you achieve your goals faster with ease, and to live an aligned life that feels good, that you love. So, if you're curious about the work I do with my clients, then listen to my first ever podcast brought to you by the power of AI to see if this is something that would help you.
Ready for a deep dive? Today we're exploring how syncing with your cycle can get a supercharge with, you guessed it, the Enneagram.
Oh, this is going to be good. We're talking about working with your natural rhythms here, not against them. It's about unlocking your full potential.
Exactly. So we'll unpack all that using these sources I have here.
I'm excited to see what we discover.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Well, not really basics, because if you're here, you probably already know the drill, the 4 phases of the cycle:
Yeah.
menstrual, follicular, ovulatory, luteal. But one source, it actually calls them seasons.
Oh, I love that. It just makes so much more sense. Like it's intuitive. Winter, spring, summer, autumn. It's like our bodies are mirroring nature.
Right, like giving yourself permission to have an inner winter during your menstrual phase.
Hmm.
It just clicks.
Totally. And it's not just about a surface level comparison either. Think about it. Just like winter is a time to slow down, recharge, go inward.
Our inner winter, it's the perfect time to do the same.
Exactly. Which can be, well, let's just say, interesting for certain Enneagram types.
You said it. Imagine like a type 7. All that energy, always on the go. Telling them to embrace stillness during their inner winter.
Yeah.
That'd be a tough sell then.
You think, but that's exactly why we're layering in the Enneagram here, because even though it might feel counterintuitive at first, that rest is crucial for them. Prevents burnout, fuels their creativity.
So that when their inner spring rolls around, they can really blossom.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of the Enneagram, remember that feeling when you first discovered your type? Like that mix of, oh my gosh, that's so me, and also, maybe not that part.
Oh, I've been there. It's a journey, isn't it? Like, we all want to be our best selves, but sometimes those insights, they hit a little too close to home.
For real. But this BEC workbook I have here, it says something like, cheer up. You're a worse sinner than you ever dared imagine.
And more loved than you ever dared hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Isn't that great? It's like this reminder that we don't have to take ourselves so seriously.
It's about approaching self-discovery with, like, a sense of humor and grace. We're all a work in progress, right?
Totally. So we've got our cyclical selves, we've got our Enneagram selves. Now, how do we merge those two?
That is the million-dollar question. It's about personalization, right?
Yeah.
Taking what we know about the cyclical phases and then tailoring them to our Enneagram type.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this tailoring.
So your client guide has some great stuff on this. For example, generally speaking, your ovulation phase, that inner summer energy, it's a great time for things like brainstorming, networking.
Makes sense. That's when a lot of us feel our most, out there, energy-wise.
Exactly. But then we add the Enneagram layer,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, okay, a type 3, the achiever, they thrive on that visibility, that outward focus. So
Inner summer energy is like rocket fuel for them.
totally. They'd be unstoppable. But now let's take that same scenario, inner summer. Lots of outward energy, and we've got a type 9, the peacemaker. That much outward focus might feel a little overwhelming for them.
Yeah, they're all about harmony and going with the flow. Too much hustle and bustle, and they're probably craving their PJs and a good book.
Exactly. So it's about finding what works for you, for your energy, for your type.
It's like finding the perfect outfit. You wouldn't wear, like, a ball gown to go grocery shopping.
Well, I mean, unless that's your thing.
True.
Yeah.
But you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
It's about dressing your life in a way that honors both your inner rhythm and your personality.
And when you do that, when you're honoring both those aspects of yourself, that's when the magic really happens.
It's not about forcing yourself into a box. It's about understanding that your energy ebbs and flows, and that's okay.
It's about working with those natural rhythms and saying, hey, I'm not flaky, I'm not unproductive, I'm just in my inner winter right now, and that's okay, I'll be back in my power soon enough. And this is where the Enneagram gets really interesting. Like, we're going deeper now. One of your sources talks about something called the core longing. Have you heard that?
I have.
Hmm?
It sounds kind of, I don't know, mystical, like a secret desire hidden deep inside us or something.
Kinda. It's that fundamental need that drives us, right? Like what motivates our behaviors. A type 2, for example, they long to feel loved and appreciated.
So they go above and beyond for everyone, even when it kind of backfires on them.
Exactly. So imagine them in their inner winter menstrual phase. They're already naturally more internally focused. And then you add in that unmet need for love and connection. It can get intense.
That makes a lot of sense. So how about like a type 9 during their inner summer, that ovulation phase?
Great example. Nines, they're all about peace and harmony, right?
Yeah.
So during ovulation, when they're naturally more, let's say, assertive, understanding their core longing can help them set boundaries, so they don't overextend themselves trying to please everyone.
It's like having a superpower, knowing your core longing. You can navigate those different phases with so much more awareness. But then on top of that, there's the whole childhood messages thing.
Right. This BEC workbook, it talks about how those messages we got growing up, even the well-intentioned ones, they can really stick with us.
Totally. Like that saying, we spend the first half of our lives living out our childhood scripts and the second half trying to rewrite them.
Yes. And this source actually shares this anecdote about an address book. A type 9 was given one as a kid and told to fill it with people they could rely on, for help.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right. So they fill up the whole book, all proud, show it to their parent, and the parent says something like, "Wow, you sure rely on a lot of people for help, huh?"
Ouch. Talk about a mixed message.
Right. And for Life 9, who just wants everyone to get along, that kind of message can be huge. So even during their inner summer, when they're naturally more inclined to speak up, they might hold back to avoid conflict.
It's like those early experiences create these invisible rules that we live by. So part of this whole cycle syncing journey, especially with the Enneagram, is about recognizing those rules, right? And maybe even breaking some of them.
100%. It's about taking back your power. But, it's not always easy. Even with all this self-awareness, life throws curveballs, we get stressed.
Now we've got the whole stress path thing to deal with, right?
Exactly. Each Enneagram type, they have their own pattern of behaviors they fall into when they're stressed. Your sources actually go into detail on this, like a type 1, the reformer. They're all about order and self-control, but under stress.
They get even more intense.
Right. Imagine a stressed out one in their luteal phase, their inner autumn, already detail-oriented, focused on getting things done. Add stress to the mix. Watch out.
So it's like knowing your stress path can be a lifesaver because you can spot those warning signs early on.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized self-care plan ready to go for when things get rough.
Okay, so we've got all these amazing insights about our cycles and our Enneagram types.
But how do we actually use this stuff in real life, right?
Exactly. Like, it's one thing to talk about core longings and stress paths, but how does that translate into, like, my Tuesday afternoon?
I hear you. That's where your Unlock Your Hormones guide comes in. It's got some really practical ideas for building what it calls a cycle syncing toolkit.
A toolkit? That sounds handy.
Yeah.
So what's in it?
Well, think of it as a collection of resources and practices, kind of like tailored to each phase of your cycle and your Enneagram type.
So it's not one size fits all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
For example, let's take a type 7 again in their inner summer, that ovulatory phase. Energy's high, they're feeling social.
What would be a good tool for them?
Maybe they plan a fun outing with friends, something to really capitalize on that outgoing energy.
Ooh, they'd probably organize the most amazing picnic or plan a weekend getaway.
See? They've got this. But then take a type 5, same phase, ovulation, energy's up, but 5s, they're more introverted, right?
So a big social gathering might actually feel draining to them.
Totally. A better fit for them might be a solo retreat, time to dive deep into a passion project, or maybe finally start that book they've been wanting to read.
So it's all about honoring your energy in each phase and then choosing activities that feel aligned with your Enneagram type.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Like your inner spring, the follicular phase. Maybe you try a new recipe, get creative in the kitchen.
Ooh, I like that.
Or during your inner winter, your menstrual phase. You could try journaling about your dreams. That time could be so powerful for connecting with your intuition.
And I love those little rituals that one of the sources talked about, like creating a spa day at home during your menstrual phase.
Oh, absolutely. Pamper yourself. Our bodies need that extra TLC, especially during that time. It's not about pushing through and pretending everything's the same.
Yeah, it's okay to slow down, to rest, to nourish ourselves.
Exactly. And while having our own personalized toolkit is great, your Unlock Your Hormones guide really emphasizes that we don't have to do this alone.
We don't.
Nope. It talks about the importance of community and support. There are group programs out there, online forums. Heck, even coaches who specialize in this stuff.
It's true. Sometimes it's easy to forget that we don't have to navigate all this by ourselves.
Totally. Having that external support can make a world of difference.
It's like having a tribe of women who get it.
Exactly. Because when we share our experiences, it's like this ripple effect of empowerment.
So we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
Yeah.
The 4 phases, the Enneagram types, all the different tools and practices.
It's a lot to take in,
It is. So as we wrap things up, is there anything that really stands out to you?
honestly. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that our cycles, they're not a weakness. They're not something to be ashamed of or try to power through.
Right. It's not about fixing anything.
Exactly. It's about embracing this amazing natural rhythm that we have and learning how to work with it to live our best lives.
Reminds me of that quote from your BEC workbook. It says something like, "And when they think of whose they are, they now know that they are his most cherished and beloved child."
Oh, I love that. It's so powerful. We are loved unconditionally in all our perfectly imperfect cyclical glory.
Yes. That is something to celebrate. So as you continue to explore this whole cycle syncing and Enneagram thing, do it with curiosity, with compassion, and most importantly, with a sense of adventure.
Here.
Because when you tap into the power of your cycle and the wisdom of your Enneagram type, you unlock this whole new level of self-discovery. And honestly, the possibilities are endless.
I hope you found that helpful. Would love to hear your feedback. If, however, you're listening to this, drop a comment or send an email. But if you are ready to start leaning in to the rhythms of your natural inner GPS and listen to those whispers, then let's get started on the next 6-week challenge to see what transformation can happen for you.